Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines, and I wanted to give you the latest update on our friend Deseries, and it's been such great news. We went to, as you probably know if you followed the news about Deseries, and this is a girl that just had somebody our friend Brian said he just felt so sorry because it seemed like she'd had so much dumped on her. And I have to agree. Well, we took her up to the hospital, took her to the doctor first of all with that terrible looking, what looked like a growth on one of her breasts. Just deal with that. She was completely in agreement with us showing that, and she's a realist, and she knows that in revealing these things, which may seem very personal to some, the thought of any woman out there who's watching this saying, well, shouldn't expect that woman to show her breasts. Well, nobody expected her to do anything. She did it because she knows sensibly that she's going to get help. So what happened was that Tracy paid for all the expenses, and we went up and we stayed at the Ice Bear Resort, and we went to see the doctor who was at one of the hospitals. We went to that hospital and they were very, very good. They took one biopsy. We're not quite happy with it. That was on the darkened scabbing area of the breast that you will be able to see if you go back and look at that video. And they wanted to be absolutely sure, but they didn't want to do 2 biopsies because they're not a pleasant trip, are they? So they held that in reserve and decided to go ahead and do a second biopsy, which they did, and they took a sample from another part of the breast which was clear of the darkened material. Now, the results of that were benign. I took that report in and I took it to Dr. C, who we have been going to see. Sorry, no pun intended. And he looked at that and he said, it looks to me from the report that she has the non-contagious form of tuberculosis. And he explained some of the aspects of tuberculosis and how it can manifest in a lot of different ways. Now, we actually know this from experience, because we did try to help a lady, Nisa, who even now you can go back and look at those the disappointing end to our efforts to help that lady, and that all came to nothing. But we did learn a lot about tuberculosis, in that it can attack the bones, it can attack different parts of the body, and it can cover up, it can be covered up, it can hide itself. It's quite a disease, but it is curable. Now, Dr. C says that if we go to the health centre, or if Deseries and our mum can get her to the health centre, we gave her money to be able to do this when we saw her last, so that they could get public transport. Let me explain what that means in terms of public transport for Deseries. Deseries lives let me say, around a mile off the main road, and it's just a dirt track, just wide enough for the footprints, I can tell you. And she has to get a motorcyclist to take her on a motorcycle, or in fact in the past has been carried that mile to the road. Now, at the road she can be picked up and very conveniently taken anywhere she wants to be on a tricycle, because they're passing all the time. But in that case, in our case, we were there to meet her. She was there at 7. Off we went to the Ice Bear Resort, and we went, and it was a surprise because the doctor that Beth was familiar with from her time in a hospital in Cebu, she knew that doctor, and we managed to get her, Desiree, in to see that doctor at the hospital. Doctor, as I said, gave ordered the first biopsy. That seemed inconclusive, not enough information for her, so she ordered another. And that was then deemed to be benign, clearly benign, but there were other indications. Now, I'm not going to try and pronounce the different medical terms for what Desiree has, but in effect what it amounted to was that the steroid medication that she had been put on by the neurologist that we took her to last time had lowered her immune system to the point where she could easily catch infections, and she apparently has caught tuberculosis. It's the non-contagious type. This is good news and bad news. If it was the contagious type, then it's still treatable, as the non-contagious type is also treatable, but the difference would be if it was contagious, she would definitely get her medication free, which is a big help. She has the non-contagious form of tuberculosis, and that's how it seems right now. So that's what's going to be prescribed. We're going to try to get the free medication for her, and we'll be letting you know about that. So that's the next step. She needs to go on to medication. She needs to go on to treatment. This puts her MS on the back burner, unfortunately, but it was on the back burner anyway for several months. We're doing what we can with what we have. Tracy has very kindly paid for all of the expenses so far, so we're good on that. And our next effort will be to make sure that Desiree gets the medication that she needs to treat the tuberculosis. And she needs to be careful, because with the lingering effects of the steroids, we think that maybe she might still be at risk for other infections. So we're going to try to make sure that she's very careful about that. The medication that she needs will be gotten next week. Now, of course, this comes at a very inconvenient time. People aren't supposed to get sick at Christmas, are they? Well, Desiree is, and we're going to have to help. So that's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to let you know about. And it's good news. We are so grateful. And we're so grateful for all of the caring comments, of the words of encouragement, of the offers to help. It just makes life wonderful. Thank you very much on behalf of Desiree, although Desiree has already thanked you. This is an update, and it's to let you know some of the details that you might be interested. I know that that certain of our subscribers are pretty well clued up on all things medical, and they were very interested in knowing exactly what's happened. So, thanks for looking in. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.